couple of weeks.
Yeah,
yeah, but
It's a year now. I think about it.
Yeah.
we're glad you're in Philly.
I'm glad to be here.
Very glad. I guess we'll start off.
Okay.
I had wanted to ask, like, when you decided that it was time to finally write the sequel, did you know that Morris Chestnut and Taye Diggs were also ready to reprise their roles? Because, everybody's important because it is like the black version of The Big Chill. So it is a full cast movie, but those two drive the story.
Sure.
So did you check with them and say, I'm ready to sit down and write this now? You guys gonna be?
I checked with everybody. I called them all up at the same time. Well, not at the same time, but I called them up and said, let's get together for dinner.
Oh, all right.
So all 9 of the original cast members, I called them up. I said, I'm thinking about a sequel. I have an idea, and let's all get in the same room. Yeah. Have dinner, and at the end of the dinner and at the end of the pitch, if you like it, I'll pursue it. If not, then we at least have caught up as a group because we all hadn't been in the same room since the premiere of The First Best Man.
No, that long?
Yeah, I mean, I'd seen a couple of them, individually.
Yeah, but nobody
in passing, but not
together.
all back together like that. No.
Okay.
I said, well, because the question that I was asking, and I wanted to ask them was, do we think this is worth doing? We didn't set out to make a franchise or a movie that had a sequel. We just wanted to make the one-off movie and make a classic, make a movie that people would,
it turned into.
And it did turn into that. At least that's what how people regard it. So, it wasn't that wasn't the intention until 2011 where I pitched it to them and they were all in after that.
And they were like, yeah, especially the fact that it was going to be a holiday theme.
Again, there's growth, but there's a familiarity to the characters as well that I think the studio was a little bit nervous about. They were nervous about going in this direction that the movie ends up going.
Why?
Well, just because the tone was different. They were like, well, can't we do another wedding movie? Can we do this? And I was just like, this is exactly what that's exactly the face I had.
They want more romantic comedy.
Well, here's the deal. The studios are. They are, and there's some very creative people there, but they look at what the first movie was, and so they want a repeat of that, and that wasn't the path I wanted to go down.
Right.
I knew that people love The Best Man not just because of the wedding setting and because of the bachelor party and the trappings of a wedding and the guys being honest and the women being asked to marry them, but it was about the characters.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a character-driven piece.
It's a character-driven piece, and I felt like we could do the same thing with these circumstances in this movie.
Yeah. Both movies really balance the humor with the sentiment and the religion really, really well.
Yeah.
I mean, and when you said this one got more sophisticated, it did. Big time. But do you know you're hitting those right notes while you're writing, or do you have to wait until they come out of their,
Well, I have a vision, I have an instinct about what I think needs to be done, and it is in the writing, but it's also in the directing of the actors and getting their ideas But I have a pretty good sense of what I'm doing, or at least what I believe in. You have to be that way, You can also get choices that you're going to want to have in the editing room when the time comes, because I had a pretty clear idea of the tone I wanted to set, and that was important to me.
But it's like not just the tone. I mean, there's some really funny lines during that pool scene.
Yeah.
And so while you're writing it, is it just flowing and you know that that's going to be spot on funny, or is it like, I think this will work with these characters, they'll be able to bring it out?
Usually if it makes me laugh, it's a pretty good test, and then I give it to the actors to read, and then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Then you rewrite, and then you go to you shoot it, and you say, well, that take wasn't quite it. Let's try it like this. So you give yourself some choices, all along the way.
Do you have somebody that you like to read it before the actors do? Like, does your wife read your
She does. She reads. There's a couple of directors and writers that I know that I give the script to, and I say, well, how does this strike you, and what works for you, what doesn't, and sometimes some people have the same note, and sometimes it'll be a note that I agree with, and sometimes it's a note that I don't agree with.
Okay.
So I have to recraft it, and that's just how how it goes. You have to be able to listen to people, but also be able to stick to your guns on certain things as well. A movie like The Best Man will not be such a oh wow, we're looking so forward to this. It can just be part of the pantheon of black movies or of movies in general.
Movies in general, that's the idea. And if people will stay away from the bootlegs and let us get out there, then I think it could happen. I mean, like we talked about, the Best Man is a classic, but this could become a holiday classic.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, what is your favorite holiday movie?
Well, I just wrote in the New York Times a couple of weeks ago that a piece on my favorite holiday movie, and it was Elf.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
With Will Ferrell?
Yeah. I love that movie. It was hilarious.
Not what I was expecting.
It was between that and Bad Santa.
Okay.
I was watching an interview with Sanaa Lathan, and she said that the cast during the filming would come up and punch her in her prosthetic belly, and that became a thing. Are there other crazy things that became like a
well, there's always little things. Like Tay would break out into song and dance sometimes. He's such a Broadway song and dance guy. I'm trying to think of anything else really. Regina had us cracking up. She's really funny. Her and Sanaa are like a comedy duo. When they're together, they're like, well, I don't want to work with Sanaa right now at all. And so there'll be stuff like that.
You need to put those kind of things on like the DVD.
Oh, there's plenty of stuff. The DVD's gonna be crazy because we have like 20 something deleted scenes.
Oh, okay.
And not just like throwaways, like really good stuff.
Yeah, that just was making it too long.
They're making it too long. And the stuff, some of the stuff is really funny. Some stuff is really dramatic. And a great addition to the DVD, really. But no, nothing really that I can recall.
No.
Usually if it got to be something too crazy, I'd probably be very annoyed by it. So I probably blocked it out.
Stop.
Because it was a challenging schedule. We shot this movie in less days than we shot the first one.
Wow.
And this was more challenging to do.
But you had so much with the New York Giants and the.
I know. Trust me, it was not easy. It was not easy, and a lot more scenes with all the actors.
Right.
At least like 3 or 4 or 5 scenes where everyone was together.
So are you saying it's like a week less than like shooting days?
Couple of days less, yeah.
Couple days less.
And but the good thing was this was by design. I wrote it so that we would spend 75% of our time at the house.
Okay.
So that makes it a little bit easier, but still it was very much a challenge. It's like when you're doing like dinner table scenes with 9 to 10 actors at once, it's incredibly challenging. For the director, for the crew, and especially for the actors. To really be focused and pick up their lines and eat food and act like it's natural and the dialogue keeps flowing.
Right.
And when we get to Christmas, we got Thanksgiving. So what do you really pile your plate up with? What's your favorite part of Thanksgiving?
Shoot, I eat everything. Probably macaroni and cheese.
You like the crispy top kind? Or
I'm not down with the crispy. I like it just real cheesy.
Real cheesy.
But not saucy cheese. Like I like it like full of like.
But you want it like hard, sort of like so that you could cut it and white.
But not too hard. I don't want it too runny or too. I want that nice creamy consistency without it being soupy.
Sounds good to me. Would we be able to get a picture?